In a quiet English village of the 12th century, two children appeared near treacherous wolf pits. Their skin shimmered green, their clothes were foreign, and their language was completely unknown. The villagers were both terrified and fascinated. Who were these children? Where did they come from? And what secrets did they bring with them? For centuries, historians, doctors, and storytellers have tried to solve the mystery. Today, we explore the strange, unexplained tale of the Green Children of Woolpit. Woolpit, a small rural village in Suffolk, England, was surrounded by farmland, thick woods, and deep wolf traps. Carefully camouflaged pits designed to capture wolves that threatened livestock. Life in the 12th century was hard. Villagers relied on subsistence farming and faced famine, disease, and harsh winters. In such a society, unusual events were noticed quickly and often interpreted through superstition. In medieval England, belief in fairies, elves, and changelings was widespread. Strange occurrences were seen as signs, omens, or lessons from a divine or supernatural realm. Clerics and chroniclers documented these events, blending observation with cultural interpretation. The stage was set for extraordinary stories to endure. The wolf pits themselves were both practical and symbolic, representing the constant tension between humans and nature. It was near these treacherous pits that the Green Children would later be discovered, their appearance caught between danger and survival. Nearby Fornham St. Martin, 15 kilometers away, hosted a population of Flemish immigrants, a detail later linked to theories of the children's origin. The earliest written accounts come from William of Newburgh, who recorded the story in Latin between 1189 and 1198, and Ralph of Coggeshall, who repeated it in the early 13th century. Both emphasize the children's green-tinged skin, unfamiliar clothing, unknown language, and timidity, but no other 12th century records confirm the story. This suggests it was initially preserved through oral tradition. Understanding Woolpit's social and environmental context is crucial. Isolated, cautious, and steeped in superstition, the villagers were primed to react to strange events. When the Green Children appeared, the conditions were perfect for a mystery that would echo across centuries. One day, villagers discovered something extraordinary near Woolpit's notorious wolf pits. Two children, a boy and a girl, stood quietly among the fields. Their skin glimmered a vivid green, unlike anything the villagers had seen. Their clothes were strange, made of fabrics unfamiliar in 12th century Suffolk, with cuts and patterns that hinted at a different land. And when they tried to speak, their words were completely incomprehensible, forming a language no one recognized. The villagers watched in a mix of fear, curiosity, and awe. How had these children arrived? Where had they come from? From the beginning, their behavior was cautious. They avoided adults, hid in the tall grass, and observed from a distance. Even the livestock seemed wary of them. Chroniclers note the boy appeared frail, shivering in the cold or sun alike, while the girl moved with slightly more confidence, though still timid. Their diet revealed another mystery. They refused almost all food, accepting only raw broad beans. To the villagers, this selective eating was puzzling and alarming, hinting at unfamiliar habits or perhaps malnutrition from a prior life they could not yet explain. Speculation erupted. Were they lost orphans? Changelings left by fairies? Children from another realm? Medieval belief systems quickly shaped interpretations, blending reality and folklore. Clerics baptized them and tried to incorporate them into village life, offering protection and attempting to teach them language and customs. Yet the questions persisted. Chroniclers focused on what they could observe: the green skin, the strange clothes, the unknown language, leaving their true origin unresolved. The sudden appearance of these children created immediate tension and fascination. Villagers had never encountered anything like it, and their reactions combined caution, care, and superstition. The green children became more than just an anomaly. They were a mystery demanding attention. Every interaction, every small gesture only deepened the questions. Who were they? Where had they come from? And why had they emerged here, near the perilous wolf pits, in the middle of the English countryside? After the shock of their arrival, the Green Children began a slow and fragile process of adaptation. Food was the first barrier. At first, only raw beans would satisfy them, a diet that hinted at previous scarcity or malnutrition. Over time, they gradually accepted bread, milk, and other local foods. As nutrition improved, their green skin began to fade, a subtle physiological transformation that chroniclers recorded with fascination. Modern scholars suggest this may have been a case of chlorosis, or iron deficiency anemia, though no one can know for sure. Equally remarkable was behavioral adaptation. The girl learned English, allowing villagers to finally understand her account of St. Martin's Land, a dim, twilight world inhabited by people like herself and her brother. She described a subterranean passage that led to the daylight of Woolpit, sometimes recalling the distant ringing of bells, which may have been literal or symbolic. The boy, however, remained weak and frail, and eventually succumbed, showing the harsh limits of adaptation under extreme circumstances. Social integration was gradual. Villagers offered guidance, care, and patience. The girl learned customs, daily routines, and the rhythms of village life. She moved from timid outsider to an accepted, though still extraordinary, member of Woolpit society. Her story illustrates not only human resilience, but also the interplay of biology, culture, and environment in survival. This stage of the narrative is crucial. It highlights the children's transformation from enigmatic strangers into partially assimilated community members. Yet even as they adjusted, the mystery remained. The land they claimed to come from, the origin of their green skin, and the boy's death left questions that no amount of adaptation could answer. St. Martin's Land lingered in the collective imagination, a reminder of the inexplicable event that had upended village life. One of the strongest historical explanations suggests the Green Children were Flemish-speaking orphans displaced by regional conflict. In the 11th century, large Flemish communities lived in eastern England, and unrest surrounding events like the Battle of Fornham in 1173 may have separated families. The children could have wandered into unfamiliar territory after being cut off from their parents. Their inability to speak English would have made their language seem completely alien, while their unfamiliar clothing reinforced the impression that they came from another world. Widespread malnutrition among displaced populations may explain their greenish skin tone and physical weakness. Their initial refusal of most foods, except raw broad beans, may also reflect both hunger and unfamiliarity with English diets. In this view, what seemed supernatural may have been a tragic case of lost refugee children, later reshaped by medieval folklore. Medical explanations provide another perspective. Chlorosis, a form of iron deficiency anemia, historically called green sickness, could account for the children's skin color, weakness, and dietary selectivity. The gradual fading of green as their nutrition improved fits this hypothesis. Modern analogs, like the blue fugates of Kentucky, show that rare nutritional or hereditary traits can produce unusual skin pigmentation, lending credibility to a physiological explanation. Folklore shaped the story's reception. Medieval chroniclers naturally interpreted the children through the lens of supernatural belief, changelings, fairies, or magical beings from underground realms. These interpretations were culturally logical, even if scientifically inaccurate. Later retellings, especially from the 17th to 19th centuries, introduced embellishments, including naming the girl Agnes or suggesting she married a royal official, Richard Barr, details not found in contemporary sources. Fringe ideas, such as extraterrestrial origins or hidden underground civilizations, emerged only in modern speculation. While fascinating for storytelling, these claims are not historically supported. Today, the Green Children story sits at the intersection of history, medicine, folklore, and imagination. It challenges us to consider how societies interpret the unexplained, blending observation, cultural belief, and the human desire to make sense of the unknown. After her brother's death, the girl became the focal point of the story. She survived, learning English, adapting to village life, and gradually recovering physically and socially. Chroniclers recorded her descriptions of St. Martin's Land, the twilight realm from which she claimed to have come, emerging through an underground passage into Woolpit's daylight, sometimes guided by the sound of bells. Her account remains the only first-hand testimony of the children's origins. Speculation about her later life includes the possibility that she was named Agnes and married Richard Barr, a royal official, though these details appear only in later historical reconstructions, not 12th century sources. The boy's death, the origins of St. Martin's Land, and the cause of their green skin remain mysteries that no definitive evidence has solved. Her survival demonstrates human resilience, adaptation, and the interplay between observation and legend. Villagers provided care, instruction, and shelter, helping her integrate into society while preserving the story that would intrigue generations. The Green Children's tale has influenced folklore, inspired historical inquiry, and continues to challenge our understanding of the past. Even now, their story prompts questions. Was St. Martin's Land a memory of a displaced Flemish village, a subterranean myth, or something entirely unknown? For every answer we uncover, more mysteries arise. How many secrets have been lost to time, and which ones are still waiting for the curious to find them? Next week, we reveal more of the unexplained, the hidden, and the extraordinary, including unsolved crimes and secrets history forgot. Subscribe for weekly deep dives into the extraordinary depths and darkness of our past. Thank you for watching.